Finally, The Rock has come back at Bad Blood. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Bad Blood had a great start to the show with the opening match, but in my opinion, it was all downhill from there. So let's get into it, let's review it, let's talk about it. Of course, The Rock coming back, massive news. Dwayne Johnson at the end appearing before the show goes off the air. He came out, he stared down the ring. Was he looking at Reigns? Was he looking at Cody? Who knows? But he had that title belt over his shoulder. That's another 2 belts we've seen tonight then. Obviously, we've seen the Rock's belt, and then Triple H also, brought out a brand new Crown Jewel Championship belt. So I just don't think we need all these belts, and I don't know why The Rock's got that, phony belt over his shoulder. No disrespect to The Rock, but that belt doesn't mean shit. I don't know why you're carrying it around. People always say these wrestling fans who walk around with replica belts are sad, and I agree that they are, but, The Rock's literally walking around with, like, a replica belt that doesn't mean anything, That belt's no different from when a team wins a Super Bowl, and then sometimes you see WWE go and give the team that won the Super Bowl like a belt. That would be like Patrick Mahomes walking about with a title that WWE gave him, It's not a real belt, but The Rock's back. We had a great Hell in a Cell match. Raquel Rodriguez is back. Jey Uso is back. There's a lot of people back, and maybe some people's interest for pro wrestling is back after tonight. Let's talk about it. As Cody Rhodes would say, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about Bad Blood. More importantly, I want to talk about the opening match, because it's the best match I think we've seen in WWE in a long, long time. But unfortunately, before we get there, I've got to talk about the opening of the show. So we get the hosts come out, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. And for me, this got us off to the worst possible start. So we're moments away from a Hell in a Cell match, and these 3 come out acting like idiots, and I knew that Bianca Belair was going to be out there swinging her ponytail, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's swinging her ponytail. Jade Cargill's like, "Oh, girl, I'm so happy to be here, girl." And then Naomi's like, "Oh, listen, B." So fucking cringe. Incredibly cringe. And then Bianca Belair is like swinging her ponytail around. She goes, "Are you guys ready? It's time for Hell in a Cell." And it's the way they're freaking out and the way they're acting. This is supposed to be Hell in a Cell. This is Bad Blood. This is Punk versus Drew. And you've got these goofballs out here acting like some fucking stupid, I don't know, like it's a stripper party, like they're from the hood, like they're there for a rap video. She's shaking her, they can do this stuff when they're with Cardi B. "Oh, you go, girl." That's fine if you're at that part of the show or whatnot, but this leads us into Hell in a Cell, really? This leads us into Hell in a Cell. Honestly, man, I just don't get it. You don't have Jim Ross putting this over. You don't have the intimidating music. You've got Bianca Belair and Jade. "Oh, you go, girl. Oh, you listen to them, B." And it's like horrible hosts, absolutely horrible hosts. So thankfully, we only seen them a couple of times tonight, but they should have not been the ones to introduce us to a Hell in a Cell match. Definitely not. Anyway, we get the match. The entrances took a long time. I get it. They try and drag out the entrances. And I'm okay with entrances being long when they're important. But, if this was so important that it should have main evented the show, but WWE, and I don't care if The Rock came back. You know what? You could have The Rock come back at the start of the show. You could. The Rock coming back didn't make that better than this. This was a great match. So, Punk, Drew, fantastic match, lots of blood, lots of weapon spots, but it wasn't just, it wasn't just like a spot fest Hell in a Cell match. It was actually lots of psychology, and it was a great wrestling match, something that we haven't seen in a long time. 2 men completely busted open, lots of blood, and blood's great in wrestling when it means something. You see blood in this, and it's like, this warranted blood. Sometimes you see blood in, let's say, AEW, and they just bleed for no reason. So yeah, no, this definitely called for blood. It needed blood. Even the ending of the match, really good. Punk has got the Anaconda face in. McIntyre tries to hit him with the wrench. Punk blocks it, smashes McIntyre with the wrench. McIntyre's begging for his life, hits Punk with a low blow. Then he gets a bag of beads, throws the beads on top of Punk's head, empties him. goes for the Claymore. Punk rolls it the way. McIntyre then goes spine first into the steel steps. Punk then wraps a steel chain around his knee and hits the GTS after putting beads into the mouth of McIntyre. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of a Stone Cold Stunner when he would give like Shane McMahon a beer and then he'd stun him and the beer would like fly out into the air. That's what it was kind of like here when Drew McIntyre got hit with the GTS and the beads came flying out his mouth. It was a great match, fantastic match, and it should have main evented the show. It should have main evented the show, but look, can't say enough things. Can't say enough good things about the match. It was great, but for me, the pay-per-view was downhill after this. It really was downhill. So as good as the opening match was, the pay-per-view just could not replicate what the opening match gave us. So we move on to, we had a backstage thing. I mean, so we have a backstage thing with BLR and all that stuff, and they get asked by Kathy Kelly, what match are you looking forward to the most? And it's like, what are you talking about? The best match has already happened. Very weird comment there, the best match has already just took place. They've missed it. But Jade Cargill says she's looking forward to Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. Obviously, Naomi says she's looking forward to seeing Bayley beat Nia Jax. Bayley versus Nia Jax is up next. This had to be one of the worst matches I think I've seen on a premium live event in a long time. There was one spot where Nia Jax goes to counter a powerbomb with a Hurricane Rana, and this is like the worst attempt at Hurricane Rana I've ever seen. I mean, we have seen some fucking big guys. I've seen Kane do a Hurricane Rana on Prince Albert, and he made that look good. This looked fucking horrible. Nia Jax is just fat, out of shape, can't work, can't talk, not a good wrestler. But for some reason, in this Triple H era, people just lick her ass. They lie. The same people that would say she sucked when McMahon was there, they now claim that she's somehow great. And she's not great. She doesn't deserve this run. She's not a dominant champion. It's not a great title reign. She's not cooking. It's absolutely shite. The only cooking she does is when she goes home and fucking puts on the fries, puts on the burgers, puts on the fucking cheese. That's when she cooks, and it looks like she does a lot of it. So, yeah, this was terrible. I mean, a lot of times there was botches in the match. Michael Cole didn't even know how to call the moves because like they were botched so much that he couldn't tell who was on the offense. That's when you know that you suck. All these moves are happening. Michael Cole doesn't know who's delivered the move. Michael Cole doesn't know who's got the advantage because the move looked so bad that he couldn't even tell what was being done or who was doing it. It was just bad. Tiffany Stratton comes out, and again, Nia Jax sits up like the Undertaker. She looks at Tiffany with the briefcase, and we've got the whole, are you cashing in on me? Are you trying to eat the last cheeseburger? It's like, what the fuck is going on here? The distraction then cost Bayley. Nia Jax wins, hits her with the Rikishi drop, the bonsai drop, or whatever. There was also a spot where Bayley went for a sunset flip into the turnbuckle, just didn't connect with it at all, and Nia Jax just fell over and landed on her. It's like, what the fuck? And then the commentators are putting over the fact that Bayley could be hurt, but they're not saying why. I mean, see, when wrestling was good, if Rikishi landed on you, they would quickly tell you why that's a bad thing. And it's obviously because he's got a big fat ass and he weighs like 400 pounds. But obviously here they have to be politically correct. They can't talk about Nia Jax's weight. So what's even the point of mentioning that her landing on you is going to be sore if you can't point out the reason why? I don't get that. But Nia Jax wins. I mean, good for her, but the match sucked. The match absolutely sucked. Then we got Priest versus Balor. Just felt a little bit dead. I mean, it was better than Nia Jax, but is what it is. Judgment Day come out. They interfere. They don't interfere well, though. And Balor ends up losing. If Balor's going to lose, I would have just had Priest win one-on-one. But Priest wins. Balor's left there. And Carlito and JD McDonough just proving that, I mean, what's the point of them being in the Judgment Day? They don't offer anything. They don't win any matches. They don't even really help anybody win any matches. They're just there to get beat up, really, and look like idiots. So, I mean, what is the point? Judgment Day at this, I mean, could they disband? I think they definitely need a new member. Maybe Raquel's going to join them, but I think they need a new male member. I think they need someone to come in that's actually a threat, someone that can actually pick up victories, someone that's imposing and physical, because JD McDonough's not it, and Carlito's just a jobber at this point in his career, so... Then Triple H comes out, he reveals a new title. It's a Crown Jewel title, so basically, every Crown Jewel, the two champs are going to face each other from the women's and men's division, and the winner will win the Crown Jewel Championship. But what's the Crown Jewel Championship mean? It means nothing. You're not going to carry this about all year. You're not going to defend this all year. You're simply just going to be competing for... It's like a trophy that you can win every year. That's all that it is. Triple H talked about how many carat gold it was. I mean, who gives a shit? Does that make the show good? Oh, look, it's 10 million carat gold. Oh, brilliant. 10 out of 10. No, it was just Triple H with a fucking belt. And of course, Triple H had to be there. He had to announce a record gate because I'm the gamer. So we get all that shite for him. Gunther comes out. Goldberg's in the crowd. Gunther says, I was lying when I said you were my favourite growing up. Then he says, don't worry, Goldberg, I'm just busting balls. And then he says, Gage, I hope your father is better at being a dad than he is a pro wrestler. This pissed off Gunther. This pissed off Goldberg, sorry. Goldberg then jumps the barricade, but security come down to ruin everything. How often do we see this in WWE these days? Security's always there. We never get anything good. Nothing ever happens. You never get any brawls. You never get any fights, because security are always there to fucking ruin it. Why? Listen, if Adam Pearce is the GM of Raw, it's good for him to have Goldberg. He should be wanting Goldberg. He should be... Remember when Bischoff was like, the ratings, I want controversy creates cash? Bischoff would do crazy shit to make Raw good. Nowadays, you look at Aldous, you look at Pearce, they try their best to prevent anything good from happening. And it's the security that do it all the time. Could have got a good Gunther Goldberg brawl. We don't get it. Security coming out here to ruin the day. And then Sami Zayn starts attacking Gunther. Security split that up. And then Goldberg gets in the ring. He celebrates and he says to Gunther, you're next, boy. So are we getting Gunther? Goldberg? I mean, maybe. I'd much rather that than Gunther Sami Zayn, that's for sure. So we'll see. Up next, we have Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan and Dominic enter in a lowrider. Nice wee entrance for sure. The match, I don't think was that bad. Dominic is suspended high above the ring in the shark cage. Liv was going for the Three Amigos, got cancelled late. Rhea then starts to take over, dominates, lays out Liv. Dominic picks the door of the chain from the shark cage because he wants to try and help his girlfriend. He climbs down but he gets caught. He's dangling from the cage. He's hanging up there. Rhea then does what she always does and beats up a man because it's okay for Rhea to beat up the men, but the men can't defend themselves. She gets a cane, starts hitting Dominic with a cane. Then Raquel comes out looking manlier than ever. Very masculine looking tonight. I don't get it. If you notice with Raquel, I mean, she always seems to wear these revealing tops and she's got nothing to fucking reveal. I mean, unless she wants to enter, I don't know, a male bodybuilding contest, then I guess she would do okay there, but in terms of cleavage or whatever, she's not got a lot, but for some reason, I don't know, she always comes out wearing these low cut tops, trying to reveal what she doesn't have, but that's fine. She throws Rhea in the ring, hits her with a power bomb. The bell goes, doesn't make a lot of sense. She then throws Liv on top of Rhea to get the pin. She realises that there is no pins, and then she lifts Liv Morgan up and tries to carry Liv Morgan, but I guess she couldn't carry Liv and she lets her down. It's a very strange ending to the match. The match overall wasn't that bad, but the ending was just confusing, and it left you bewildered at what happened. I mean, I believe Rhea won by DQ, but I wouldn't bet my life on it because there was no explanation. The commentators didn't confirm it. There was no announcement from Samantha Irvine. There was just nothing. So I don't know. Raquel then left with Liv and Dom. Maybe she's going to join the Judgment Day. Who knows at this point? Who knows? Then we go into the main event, guys. Tag team match. It was Cody and Roman taking on Solo and Jacob Fatu. Look, it wasn't a bad match, but for me, it was just your average pay-per-view tag team match. No stakes, nothing on the line. We haven't seen these guys in the build-up to this, so it just felt flat. I mean, even though I think some of the stuff that Punk and McIntyre has been doing, that's had a big build. This, not really. Roman Reigns turned up on SmackDown 1 week, then took another holiday for 2 months. It's right, okay. Just a average sort of match. You get your table spot. Reigns comes in, hits a spear. The jobbers from the Bloodline come out. Jimmy Uso's there to make the save. He returns, hits a couple of super kicks. He then distracts Solo Sikoa. Sikoa turns around, eats a spear. 1, 2, 3. Reigns wins. Reigns and Jimmy Uso embrace. They have a big hug. Reigns looks at Cody, tells me he wants the belt. They then leave. Cody gets beat down. It's 4-on-1. Jimmy says, come on, Reigns, you gave him your word. You need to do the right thing. I'm with you. Whatever you decide, I'll do. Reigns then runs into the ring with Jimmy. They beat up the Bloodline. The Bloodline look like jobbers at this point. They have to retreat. Reigns, Jimmy and Cody then stand in the ring. The lights go out, and then we get The Rock. The Rock returns. We see The Rock appear with his phony championship that isn't real and doesn't mean anything, and he just stares into the ring. I can't say this was great just because The Rock appeared, but the expectation of fans are so low these days. They've been starved of good stuff that they simply consider a return epic. People are saying Raquel's return is epic. Jimmy Uso's return is epic. The Rock's return is epic. I mean, at least Raquel and Jimmy done something. The Rock didn't do anything. He just came out and stood there and looked into the ring. So I can't say that was fantastic just because The Rock appeared. I mean, I'm from an era where The Rock appeared every single week. So, just simply The Rock being there doesn't impress me. But I think people are starved of good wrestling these days. That simply having somebody come out and just look at the camera or stare somebody down. People consider that like epic now. They consider that cinema. Just because The Rock was there to look at Roman Reigns and Cody. And it's like, nah, I mean, it's just, as good as he is, it's just The Rock staring at them, it's not amazing. But anyway, that was it. That was your Bad Blood pay-per-view premium live event. It's strange because it finished earlier than it normally does in the UK, yet I feel more tired than ever. So yeah, I don't know why, but honestly, man, I thought the opening match was great. I really enjoyed it. One of the best matches that WWE have done in a long time. The main event match was alright. It was interesting. Nice to see Jimmy Uso return. You get the Rock surprise at the end. And I guess you're left, wondering what's going to happen next. I'll tell you what's going to happen next. We probably won't see The Rock for 2 months. So, I mean, it'd be great if they followed up on this on Raw, even though none of them's on Raw. But maybe SmackDown. Well, we'll be lucky if we get Roman Reigns on SmackDown, never mind The Rock. So I'm not that excited for SmackDown. But yeah, the show went downhill after match 1. Nia Jax versus Bayley was bad. Priest versus Balor was just uninteresting. And then the Liv Morgan Rhea match was just a bit of a mess, to be honest. So yeah, very strange. I'm going to give this pay-per-view... What am I going to give Bad Blood, guys? That's the big question. What am I giving Bad Blood? I'm going to get a 5 out of 10, mainly just for the opening match. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Punk, Drew, I'd give that match a solid 8, 9. I thought that was really, really good. Unfortunately, the rest of the card didn't deliver. I think the Hell in a Cell should have main evented. But, with hindsight, I guess Rock coming back, I understand why they done that. But honestly, I think even if The Rock didn't come back, I think if Jimmy Uso didn't come back, I think with just the normal tag match, it probably would have main evented anyway, because WWE just don't really want to push anyone else but Cody or Roman in that main event spot. So guys, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It was dragged down after the opening match, like I said. I would have gave it a lot more had the pay-per-view continued. But the opening match was really, really good, and the rest kind of just let it down. So 5 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts down below. Catch you in the next one. And until then, it's good to have The Rock back. It's good to see that CM Punk's not done. People saying he's finished, he's washed up, he can't go anymore. I've always been a big CM Punk fan. Even though some of the stuff that he hasn't done recently, I've not, not been completely convinced on him. But still, CM Punk for me, one of the top guys in wrestling, should be pushed as a main eventer, should be the number 1 guy in the company. There's no doubt about it. When The Rock's not there, for me, CM Punk is number 1, and he should be world champion. Fuck Gunther. Get the belt on Punk. Let Punk have his WrestleMania moment. Let him main event Mania, not this night 1 crap. Punk should main event night 2. Anyway, that's it, guys. Punk, Cena, make it happen. Till next time, peace.